of the ways to control the slaves were to keep them at the master's property. As time continued, more and more slaves tried to run away from their masters in hopes to see the Mason-Dixon line. The Mason-Dixon line was the line that divided the northern states from the southern states. Since most laboring farms and crops were grown in the South, the southern states used a lot more slaves, creating the Mason-Dixon line, which followed the ideal farming crop soil. The Mason-Dixon line was divided into two sections of land because of the purchasing of the Missouri Compromise and later the Louisiana Purchase. The first phase of the Mason-Dixon line was the outlining of Maryland with Pennsylvania and Delaware in 1763, and continued in the bottom of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa in 1820. This line was referenced in a lot of legislation when talking about the southern states' territory below the Mason-Dixon line. As the Underground Railroad was being used, slaves were escaping from the Deep South. They knew they were free when they crossed the line. When the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 was in effect, thousands of slave owners and slave catchers would camp out at the border to catch the slaves and return them to their masters. This line and term was heavily used well into the 1960s in relation to the civil rights movement that gave African Americans their political rights, like voting